Hey everyone, Mike Extra Cheese here. You're on the Extra Cheese channel. I love doing this video. I haven't even done it yet, and I'm telling you right now, I love doing this video. This is my passion. The Beatles are like the best band in the world to me. And I have been so blessed to have seen Paul McCartney 7 times. 7 times. I'm going to say it again, 7 times. Now that may not be a great number to some of you who have seen him like 70 times, but for me, 7's a great number. I want to tell you something that happened before I get into this video. I'm losing my breath already. I'm excited about telling you about these experiences. Okay, so we're at Citi Field, New York. When you're young, you do things impulsively. I said, what the heck? Let's go to New York City and see Paul McCartney play at Citi Field. It's the first time any band's ever played at Citi Field. Okay, this is back in 2009, I think it is. Shea Stadium, I think was still up in the background. They're tearing it down, but it's looming, okay? Everyone knows about the Beatles having played in Shea Stadium. If not, Google it. The Beatles played Shea Stadium. I think it was like 60,000 people, largest ever, okay? Anyway, McCartney's playing at Citi Field. I got tickets for 2 nights. Had them in the upper deck the first night, which is a Friday. I'll go through that later on in this video. Second night, we're on the floor. I'm not kidding you. I'm going to tell you how it happened. So I'm at work. I'm going through the tickets. These tickets come up. They're floor seats. I said, guess what? We're going to a second show. Bought the tickets. So glad I did. We weren't in the middle. You don't have to be in the middle. When you're in the front row, okay, the front row of a concert, that is still the front row of a concert, no matter where you're positioned on the stage. So if the stage is here, center, we're off here, where those big, you're going to see in the picture, the big video things, that's where we were sitting, right in front of that. Now, it may look like, oh, those had to be awful seats. They were not awful seats. They were awesome seats. I'm looking at Paul McCartney like this. He's standing there right in front of the microphone. When he played the song yesterday, it was unbelievable. Anyway, my point for doing this little intro is because you got to see my expressions to understand what happened. The show's over. Everybody's out. The only thing about being in front row, you're going to be the last person out, okay? Because everybody else is going to get out before you, which was no problem. We had nothing else to do anyway, okay? My gosh. The band's all leaving the stage. And I'm like, well, Paul, he's probably out of here, right? I mean, he's a Beatle. He probably got in some kind of, undercover car and hightailed it out of here. I see the band, the band leaves. And we're in the outfield at Citi Field. So the stage is here, and you're right up against the wall where the Mets play. And you can see in the outfield wall, there's doors to kind of let you go in and out, the players, ground crew, whatever. So I'm like, well, the band goes out the doors. Paul's probably gone, right? Paul's not gone. I'm glad I waited. My wife is picking up confetti and souvenirs from the show being over. Let me just wait. What I got to lose, Here comes Paul McCartney. I'm not kidding you. I'm not far from Paul McCartney, okay? I am not even going to try and throw a number out. He's within shouting distance, and that's exactly what I did. I see Paul come out. He's with his assistant. He's got this towel over his neck. He probably was getting hydrated. The man doesn't take a drink of water in a 2.5-hour show, all right? And I go like this, thank you, Paul. Paul heard me. He turns around, purposely turns around, seeks me out, sees me, gives me a smile, and he waves at me. I got waved at. I got acknowledged by a Beatle, okay? I got acknowledged by Paul McCartney, Sir Paul McCartney, right after a concert. And I will never forget that. And if I ever do forget that, I'm so glad I'm making this video so I can watch it back and say, oh my gosh, that happened to me? It did. It happened to me. So don't give up on your dreams, people. Even me doing this YouTube thing, I've had this going on in my mind now for a long time. So glad I started doing this. I get to share these things with you. I'm so glad you're jumping on board and starting to watch these videos. It's great and gratifying for me to see that they're getting looked at least, You never want to see this. You want to see this, the waves, and you look at all those, what do they call it, the analytics or whatever. It's nice to see people are watching it. Anyway, I've talked long enough. I talked too much. Let's watch the rest of the video. I'm going to take you through 7 Paul McCartney concerts, and I'm going to share some of my memories of them with you. But that was the one I had to get out, because to get waved at by a Beatle was just awesome. Let's check this out. All right, everyone, here we go. This is the first time I ever saw Sir Paul. This was at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee, Sunday, October 23rd, 2005 at 7:30. Now, you see the face value. These are paper tickets. This is why. These tickets were bought through a third-party ticketing agency. The face value was $90. I can tell you that my wife bought me these as a gift. I know we paid over $400 for these tickets. Great thing about these tickets was they were Section 441, which is up there, but right next to the side of the stage. You could see everything. Everything. I remember not a whole lot, to be quite honest with you. I remember I had a great time. I was probably in La La Land as far as, oh my gosh, this is my first Paul McCartney concert. And yeah, that's about all I can tell you about this show. It was a long time ago. Here's a little bit of paper copy of those tickets, how they look like, and that type of thing. I actually had to search for these. I didn't even know I still had them. Most of the tickets I have are like this, hard copy. This is the Citi Field shows that I was just telling you about at the intro to this video. Now, the first night we were up in the, let's call it the upper deck. Let's not call it the nosebleed seats. It's the upper deck. It was a little rainy that night. We were in Flushing, New York. We walked to the venue. We had a hotel near the venue. Near the venue for New York means you're going to walk 30 to 45 minutes. That's what we did. We walked about 45 minutes from where we stayed to the park. And to be quite honest with you, it was close. I don't think there were any, there weren't too many places that were much closer than a 45-minute walk. So, and when you're a lot younger, what the heck's a 45-minute walk? So I can tell you this. It was raining, and we knew the next day it wasn't going to rain. We also knew we were going to be on the floor. We left a little early. So guess what happens? Billy Joel comes out. Yep, Billy Joel comes out. We missed it because we had left a little bit early to get back to the our room. That's another thing about youth. Sometimes you don't make such good choices today. There's no way I would have left a McCartney concert early. It's just not happening. Okay, and this is still row 3, section 503. This is a Friday night. Now, this is the floor seat. I paid face value. Look at that, $175. I know, it may sound like a lot of money. I'm telling you, you buy tickets today, you're not going to touch a floor seat at face value for $175. It's just not going to happen. Row 1, seat 5, and what else was it? Seat 4 and 5. These tickets, yeah, these are awesome. I just love it that we have these. I want to tell you something. I just remembered this right now. I had other tickets, okay? We were going to be there for 2 nights. I had other tickets. I think they were in the vicinity of where we already had stayed the day before. I had hard copy tickets. I got these tickets because, like I said, they came up on the website. I was getting these from McCartney's website, so if you were a subscriber to his website, you could get tickets like this. So I had in my hand 2 tickets that I had already paid for. I don't know what the cost was, maybe $150 for both. I was like, I'm just going to give these to somebody and be a blessing to them. You know, this whole thing's been a blessing to us. I'm going to give these tickets to somebody. I found somebody, can't tell you anything about it. He was shocked. I gave him the tickets, and I hope they enjoyed the show. I hadn't thought about that in years. Man, how about that? I forgot all about that. I have no pictures from this show. I have no video. This is back in the time, was this 2009? I think the best you could get, you're going to either bring a real camera in, or I don't know what else was even available. I have no idea. But the thing was, I was not going to get thrown out of this place for taking pictures. I said, the heck with that. I'm going to watch the show. I'm not taking pictures. I'm not even going to try to get a camera in here. Times were different then. And not everybody had phones like we do now. Okay, so next show. Wrigley Field. This was a great show. This was a great show. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna show you some other pictures. Now, I took these pictures. These are pictures I took from where we were sitting. We were in the front row, upper deck, but the lower part of the upper deck. So if you've ever been to Wrigley Field, there's a lower upper deck and an upper deck. And really, they're good seats. Any place you sit at Wrigley really isn't that bad. But these are pictures that I took. This is from our viewing and vantage point. I'm just flipping through these here. There's yours truly. I'm up against the railing. There's another, as the crowd starts to file in, you got the scoreboard in the background there. Can you see that? Let me see. Yeah, there we go. See the scoreboard in the background there? Isn't that epic? Wrigley Field, and Paul McCartney are in Chicago at Wrigley Field. And there's right before, as the show is kind of starting to warm up and vamp up. Let me tell you something. I do remember we waited a long time. We knew where he was going to arrive in his car. So my wife and I waited for him to show up. Our efforts paid off. He did show up. He waved to the crowd, and off he went back in through here. You see my finger behind this stage? But right there in the center field wall. This is before they redid Wrigley Field. But there's still those big doors that were there. And that's where he came in, probably went back here somewhere, had a room waiting for him. It was fun. It was hot. I think you can see how hot it was. I want to show you something. I'm looking at my picture here, and I'm looking at my face. This guy is nicely tanned, and I think a lot of it happened just waiting on this show for Paul to show up. Yeah, that was a hot one, but a great show. Also, this is the first time I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Dave. Dave, you know who you are. He and his family, his wife, and I think he had 2 guests with him, were also with us, sitting right behind us. They got to enjoy this show too. This aisle 434, row 1, seats 1 and 2. Again, these were I got these tickets pre-sale. If you were part of Paul McCartney's fan club, they would send you a link on how to get tickets like this before the general public got them on sale. That's how I got great seats to these McCartney shows. I was part of a pre-sale crowd, if you will, who got in on it before anybody else could. Okay, I'm going to tell you something about this show. This was a great show too. This is Miller Park. The thing about this show is, man, was it hot. I'm telling you, Miller Park, I think they changed the name to it now. This is where the Milwaukee Brewers play. This is July 16th, middle of summer, and the thing that shocked me is that they didn't have the roof open. And I mean to tell you, this was the hottest concert I have ever been to, ever, in my life. Because it was, I don't know what the heat index was outside, but it's summer, so it's humid, it's hot. I bet it was at least 90 degrees, and it was way more than that inside. They didn't open up the door, and there's no fans or anything to blow ventilation around, at least not that I remember. So this was the first time where I can remember being at this type of a thing, and just, it was one of those things where you're so darn hot, you can feel it trickling down your back, and you're kind of almost miserable, But hey, it's McCartney, the things we do for the people we love, right? I mean, it was hot. Okay, Target Field. This is in Minnesota. What I remember about this show was never been there before, met up with a great friend of mine, Kent. I'm going to give you a shout out to. Hey, Kent, thank you, because if it wasn't for you, I would have found the Beatles maybe a little bit later. Kent was my neighbor. He introduced me to the Beatles. He said, Mike, if you like the Monkees, because I'm a kid, I love the Monkees. I still love the Monkees. I saw the Monkees in concert, too. He said, you're going to love this band. He brings over a Beatles record. It was the Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl, and that started it all off. Then my aunt comes over, my mom's sister, and she said, I didn't know you liked the Beatles. She hears me listening to the Hollywood Bowl record. So, yeah, I like the Beatles, and I'm, 7, 8 years old? So she brings me over every Beatles album through Rubber Soul. The American versions. You want to talk about falling into Mecca, how I went from one album to all these Beatles songs at one time. It was great. That was just the beginning, but that's how it started for me. So yeah, we're in Minnesota. I remember it was a great show. I'm going to show you another picture of the season. I brought my neighbor Kent, because we grew up together. We are like brothers, still are. There's, time and distance cannot separate when you grow up with a friend and you have a best friend, because you are going through all those trials and tribulations together. You know what I'm saying? They become like brothers to you. So Kent, thank you. And I got to meet up with them. Yeah. Great memories. Boy, this just stirs so much emotion in me when I get to see these things. I'm glad I got to experience these things. Let me show you another picture. Okay, a much younger version of me. What was this, 2014, for 12 years ago? At Target Field, there's where our seats were. I mean, you see that safety rail there? We're literally sitting right in front of that rail. You got the stage in the background there. And man, oh man, I just, another... get it through his fan club, great seat, row 1. I don't know what seats we were. I'll have to go back to the tickets and look myself. But yeah, just a great show. You know, you can you can YouTube, I think, these concerts too. I'm sure there were people there who had some cameras and stuff who got video of these things. So this is Target Field. If you want to YouTube it, go ahead. I'm probably going to do it myself. Back to those out there tickets from McCartney and Minneapolis. Yeah, row 1, seat 6, 5 and 6. Just showed you the pictures. Okay. Oh, I got a great story to share with you guys about this one. This was the last time I saw Paul McCartney. I went with my wife and brother-in-law Tommy, sister-in-law Val. And the story I had to share with you is we had, I don't want to call them nosebleed seats, but that's what we call them, okay? We had nosebleed seats. My wife and I are walking around in the promenade, and this fella comes up to us and says, "Hey, where are you guys sitting?" And I showed him our tickets where we were sitting. He said, "Well, you're going to do a little better." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I got these tickets that the artist wants us to give away. He doesn't like to see empty seats. He wants to make sure everybody has a good seat." I said, "Wait a minute. Are you telling me that Paul McCartney is giving out tickets to come down onto the floor and watch his show?" He said, "Yes, that's exactly right. We got floor tickets to see Paul McCartney at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. I want to show something to you. Look at these tickets. Look real close. You see what the tickets cost? They cost nothing for Paul McCartney. Look at this. Ticket, $0. Tax, $0. Nothing. These tickets have no dollar value. That's because Sir Paul owned these tickets and gave these tickets out to randomly selected fans. Look, I call it a blessing thing. You all know I'm a Christ follower. I'm a Christian. I'm a worship leader. These things happen, I believe, because God wants to bless people. He wants to bless you. When these things happen like this, I don't call this coincidence. I call this a blessing. I call this a God thing. That's what this is. This is when he steps in and says, "Look, I want you to know how much I love you, and I'm just doing this because I want to love on you a little bit. I know you're going to enjoy this." And then later on down the line, like today, for example, I can share this blessing with you, and you can see that, you know, this is not a coincidence. Thousands of people there, and I'm just going to get random. No. I knew it the second it happened. I felt something stir in my spirit, and I said, "Lord, thank you. And we did. We praised him before we even got down into the seats, and we praised him when we got down there as well. Son of a gun. Ain't that something? Look at that. Seats from Paul McCartney. Unbelievable. But it happened. Now I'm going to show you some pictures from this concert too. Okay, now this is St. Louis. I took these pictures. These are pictures that I took. I don't remember if this is where we were sitting or not. It might have been. Most likely this is where we were sitting. I could have walked around and just took this picture, but this was the height that we were from where we were first sitting. This might have been where we were sitting. And to be honest with you, we had nothing in front of us. These were more of those row 1 seats where you had no obstructed view. If this is where we had ended up, what a view. What a view. This is great. And I'm looking at this now. We would have been totally happy and satisfied with where we were, if not for the upgrade, which was great too. You can see that. I was just trying to get a little close up. There's a picture of Sir Paul on the scoreboard out there. And this is where we ended up. So not too far away. It was great. This is where we got upgraded to. In fact, I'm going to show you. Yeah, there's me and the wife. We were happy. We were really happy. This is where we ended up on the floor. Thank you, God. Yeah, it was just great. Couldn't believe that happened. What a way to end your Paul McCartney run of concerts, on the floor with tickets given to you by Sir Paul himself. Yeah, you know what? You can see for yourself. These seats were close, and it was a great show. All right, so this is a picture taken from one of the nights. He played 3 nights in center field. We were City Field, center field. Hey, why not? He played 3 nights at City Field. We were there for the Friday and Saturday, and then he skipped Sunday. I believe he did Monday or Tuesday. So we did Friday and Saturday. Not sure which night this is from. I think it's on the photo. This is an AP photo. This is one of the nights I was there. I want to show you where we were sitting. Those front row seats. This is my little cursor here thing going, okay? You see this big screen right here? Well, they're floor seats right in front of this screen. You're sitting in the front row in front of this big thing here. You're seeing everything, okay? You're seeing everything. You may think, oh, you're not, yeah, you are seeing the whole stage. You are right next to the stage. So when Paul's here, like he is in this picture, you can see Paul. He's right there. Can I zoom in on this? Not without it fading out, but there's Paul right there. I'm literally looking at him from standing right here, and I'm seeing him from the side, you know. So when he played the song yesterday and got up there with his acoustic guitar, that was awesome. That was amazing. I'm like, oh my gosh, what a timeless song. And I'm seeing him sing this firsthand. Yeah, the memories are just coming back to me. Wow, I tell you. What else do we got here? Another picture of Paul being Paul. That was great. I got these pictures. I own these pictures. I got them from AP. Yeah, there it is. See a photo. Okay, so we're going to get into some t-shirts now. Paul McCartney. This is from the Chicago. Another shout out to my friend Dave, who sent me these shirts. He was at the show with me. He sent me these t-shirts last year. It was a complete surprise. Said, Mike, these have been hanging up in my closet. They're unworn. They're unwashed. Thought you might like to have them. You have to understand, when you're going to these shows, you're kind of on a budget. You spend a lot of money to get there. You spend a lot of money on the tickets. And these shirts ain't cheap, okay? I'm guessing they're probably, at the time, $35, $45. So, you know, you got budgets and stuff. So shirts were not on my budget. Thank you so much again, Dave, for sending me this shirt. This was a shirt specifically sold at the venue, 7:31 to 8:1. So he's played 2 nights. We were at this one. Yeah, really cool. The Out There tour. And this is why I wanted to show you this. Is look at this is a little bit different. A little bit monogram. I don't understand this. I'm going to have to research just a little bit just to see if there's any significance to this. I'll move the camera over a little bit. The love you take is equal to the love you make, and of course the size. I've never noticed it till just today. I thought, how unique is that? Usually it's like, you know, the name of the shirt maker in there. This is different. And there's a close-up of that. Very unusual. And this would be from 2013, so I'm guessing Dave sent me this too. He was at the Milwaukee show. But this was when I seen him in Minneapolis. Oh, and this would be the last tour. Here's the St. Louis show. I bought this one myself. I knew it was probably going to be the last time I was going to see him. And I wanted to make sure I had me a shirt to commemorate it. So, anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I wanted to make this one a little bit shorter than the Rush video that I did. I had a lot to say on that one too. That turned out to be almost 40 minutes long. This one's going to clock in a little bit less. Thanks so much for tuning into the Extra Cheese channel, sharing my passion with Sir Paul in these concerts. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great day.